got another fish. There's another one here. Oh, nice one. Yes, sir. Woo!
We might have to just sit on this point all day if they keep biting this big.
That's what we came for. Yeah, baby.
The 2001 Bassmasters Tournament Trail, presented by Long John Silver's. This is the Bassmaster Central Invitational, brought to you by Ebertroll.
Welcome to the Red River and the first Bassmaster Central Invitational event of the season. It's the final day of a 3-day competition, and Texas angler Slade Dearman has a 2.5-pound lead, despite an error yesterday that cost him 3.5 pounds.
Tell me what happened, Slade. Go ahead and spill the beans.
Trip, I just don't know, really. I mean, my fish, they bite so quick, and, I mean, it's like every throw once you get there and they start eating, and I guess I just went to catch them too fast and throw them in the live well. When I thought I had number 5, I put a cork in him, and I guess I was a fish too late. Here we go. Here we go. All right.
Now, BASS rules require that the largest fish be culled. According to Slade, the action was so fast and furious that he just lost count.
Probably what's going through my mind the most is what happened yesterday, you know, having to throw the 4.5 pounder back. But, you know, still having probably a 3-pound lead, you know, that's pretty comfortable. You know, just hope when we get there, it's like it's been the last 2 mornings and they eat real fast.
We'll have to wait and see if Slade's lead will hold up or if the 3.5 pounds will make the difference. Now, here's today's top 10. Okay.
I don't even think he's a keeper. Yeah, he is too.
Should be a keeper who's weighed in yesterday.
The Bassmasters, brought to you by Long John Silver's. You can't resist the cravings. Berkeley Trilene, catch more fish. PENNZOIL Marine, it's the right equipment for fishing. And by Bass Pro Shops, the world's leading supplier of premium fishing tackle.
Welcome back. When you fish the Red River, locks and dams play a huge part in the competitor's strategy.
They really do, Reed. Now, you've got 300 guys competing this week, and they're going to have 3 pools to choose from. Pool 3, 4, and, of course, 5 that's right here at the launch area. But let me tell you something about locks and dams. It creates havoc, man. If you're not there on time, if you don't have your system worked out with a lock master, it can cost you valuable fishing time.
And that is just what veteran Bass Pro O.T. Fierce has chosen to do. He's running 2 hours both ways, and he's going through 2 locks.
Well, O.T. is one of the few competitors that's running up to Pool 3. The reason O.T.'s done this, not only has he found some fish there, but they're more isolated. There's not that many competitors that'll make that long run. O.T. brings in 13 pounds and 2 ounces yesterday, and if he can repeat that effort, you can't count O.T. out.
Well, as we go upriver to pool number 4, we find today's leader, Slade Dearman, but there's another guy fishing in that pool to really pay attention to.
You know, he's from Texas. His name is Jay Yellis. Reed, he's qualified for 10 consecutive, back-to-back now, Bassmasters Classics. Not too many guys have done that. But Jay Ellis knows exactly what it'll take on this river to move up in the standings.
And finally, we look to pool number 5.
Well, in pool number 5, you've got a bunch of guys. That's where all the fishermen are stacked up. They're a lot closer. It's right here at the ramp. And you know what? There's a guy in the number 4 spot named Todd Faircloth who has great success right here. You can't count him out. Also, there's a guy named Keith Green who's currently in the 8th position. You want to hear an interesting twist? Well, it's aluminum. That's right, aluminum boats, man. When the waters are like they are and you've got these backwater oxbows that you can't get a big bass boat in, aluminum boats are going to play a key factor. Last year, Brent Chapman, he won this event fishing out of an aluminum boat. So watch this Keith Green.
All right, the stage is set for the final day of competition here on the Red River. Let's take it back out on the water.
Well, right now we're catching all the fish that were released the last couple days. To be honest with you, we're fishing right out here on the main river, right at the mouth of Clark's Marina, and fishing the main river point at the mouth of the marina, and we've caught 10 keepers in the first half hour, and I'm pretty sure most of them are released fish. Catching them, most all of them on a spinnerbait.
We just pulled up here this morning, and first thing this morning, and I got 3 small keepers in the box, and what you got here is a little deep water deal that runs on the outside of this little ridge here, and these fish are just pulling up here and feeding every once in a while, and you'll catch a few of them. I haven't caught any good fish here, but I've caught some keepers, and that's how I want to start out this morning, and later on in the day I'm going to go flipping and try and catch some better fish. I'd like to leave here with a limit, though.
There's a fish. He's no giant, but I believe he'll keep. That's all right. I clean him up here. I don't think he'll keep. Well, he'll go. He's a baby, though.
Sitting here trying to help Mr. O.T. Fears here, make sure he can do something to win this tournament. He's in contention for first place, so I don't feel any point in trying to compete with him on his own fish. He was kind enough to go ahead and let me do it, but I decided it'd be better for him to go ahead and try to win this, opposed to me just try to get some points for the Central Invitational.
You know, it's really, if I was in the reverse position, you know, I'd be doing the same thing Rick's doing, letting him have a shot at winning the tournament. It's not every day you get positioned where you can win one of these tournaments, and it just means an awful lot to be able to fish your fish without any competition. I was real fortunate in finding these fish, and apparently no one else in the whole tournament got on this pattern. And it's kind of been a river fisherman. It's kind of a classic river pattern. I mean, you got places where you got rock banks and you got flooded timber and stuff, and the fish have so much cover, it's kind of like hunting a needle in a haystack. I came in here looking at this bare oxbow. Basically, it's bare. I mean, there's no structure other than a couple of trees. And so the fish, once they move around in here, it's hard to pin them down, but once they move around in here and circulate, they'll come by this tree and they'll hold on it for a while. And that's exactly what they've been doing. Visiting this tree several times during the day, you may come here and not get a bite and come back in 30 minutes and catch 3 or 4. We pulled up here today and I've had 4 bites on it early. And I'm fixing to go to my other spot and try it for a little bit and let this one rest. And, you know, just kind of rotate back and forth, see what happens.
The weather weather here in Louisiana couldn't be better. We've got beautiful high blue skies, and the temperatures are ranging in the high 70s. Now, the anglers aren't very concerned about that. All they care about is catching their 5 bass a day. That'll be the limit in each of the BASS events. We had a problem coming into this event, and that was dropping air temperatures that created a confusing bite. The surface temp of the water is between 60 and 65 degrees. That's okay, but the visibility is hurting a lot of these fish. It's only about 2 feet on the main river, and in the backwater areas where there's a lot of runoff, we're not seeing but about a foot. Now, the Red River has very little current this week, and about the only current that's been generated is when the lock and dams are operated. Rocks, timber, grass, and of course lily pads all make great bass cover. But the problem is the fish are in their summer transition, the water temperatures are cooling off, and that creates a scattering of the bass. Well, BASS Pro Homer Humphreys, who also guides here on the Red River, should have a good take on what's going on.
What's going on is these fish are migrating, using this ditch as a migration route. And we come in and checked it the other morning. We had about 7 bites here, one about 3.5, 4 pounds. And we come in here this morning, but the conditions has changed quite a bit. We got high bluebird skies. Other morning it's sort of hazy and cold. And the thing is, these fish still use this as a migration route, but things are going to just slow down a little bit. We got them located in 5 spots similar to this, and all of them's using migration and stuff. The shad are starting to move back here in these coves, or these oxbows. Not all the way back yet, but they well on their way. And we're just trying to pick off some good fish coming up through here.
Well, Homer's talking bass migration, and what I believe he's saying is that the bass are in their summer to fall transition. Now, the cooler temperatures we've recently had have triggered a reaction in the fish to prepare for the winter period. And as the water starts losing the summer's heat, the shad starts showing up in the shallows, which means the bass are coming in right behind them.
There's one right there. Thank you. He's small, but I'll take.
There he is. Where'd you catch that one on, Sam? Tube? Old Sam was just killing them on a spinnerbait. He caught about, I think he's caught 8 on a spinnerbait this morning. What kind of a spinnerbait was that you were throwing? Ozark Mountain River. Ozark Mountain. I'm biting this little Berkeley power worm pretty good here. They're not big ones, but it's a limited getter anyway.
You know, it's just a real good ledge, and in this area behind us, it's called the jungle, and it's got a lot of ditches and oxbows that cut through it. So this little area here, it can replenish itself every day, you know, with fish moving in and out. And it's one of the closest places out of all the timber there before they get to the river. So it's just a real good staging area.
The Bassmaster's Pro Tip, brought to you by Evertroll.
It's a beautiful fall afternoon, just gorgeous out here. But it's a real high pressure situation, and this can be some of the toughest days to find and catch bass that there is. I tell you what, there's 2 things to remember when you're out here on a day like this. Look for bait fish activity. If you can see some shad moving around, there's probably bass in the area. And also use a bait like this little number 7 suspending shad wrap. Looks just like a bait fish, and the fish will really hit it good. If you try it, you'll catch more bass.
just Texas rigging this on 14-pound Trilene XT using a real light sinker. I'm using an 1/8-ounce bullet weight 3/0 hook and a 7-inch red shad power worm, little sickle tail. Good river worm. Basically what I've done all week is fish really two spots. We caught some fish crankbaiting on the rock banks first day early, and then we came down here to this tree and commenced to catch them pretty good. Nice. Well, we lost more than we caught. And in practice, I'd found that tree, and had looked at this area right here and didn't catch a fish here. And yesterday, when they quit biting in the tree, we came around here and actually caught more here than we did in the tree. Better average size. So I thought with the two spots going today that I'd have enough fish to do really well, but they're not biting real good right now. Get in here, baby. All right, that's a little bit better fish. The old red shad Berkeley power worm. I might have to just sit on this point all day if they keep biting this big. Let's see. We're gonna let that one go, that little old spotted bass. He's just 12 inches, but thank you, friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that, you know, we probably got here 10 or 15 minutes pretty late this morning, but, you know, I've caught these fish, you know, later in the day during practice, so all I can hope for is eventually that, you know, they'll move back up and go to feeding and, you know, we can catch them real quick. But, you know, I've caught all mine the last 2 days right here in this little stretch, so I'm pretty much just gonna have to live or die right here and hope that they do pull up to feed.
There he is. That's a good one. That's a good one. Not that big, but he's a bass. Number 4. Come up. I thought he's bigger than that. I just wanted him to be bigger than that. Very important to get these things rigged as straight as possible. I rig them with a curl down with the hook. They seem to swim better that way. I got on this pattern somewhat in practice, but I really pursued it yesterday and caught a lot of really nice fish. Actually, what we're doing, this is my partner Terry Bolton from Kentucky, and we're just running these riprap walls out on the channel. It seems like the ones that run north and south probably have a little bit more current on them than some of the others do. There's not a whole lot of current in the river this time, but there is a little bit running down these things, and there's a few bass scattered along them, and they'll take little spurts of feeding now and then, and you'll catch a few, and then they'll be quiet for quite a while, and then you may catch a few more. So it's not nearly as good today as it was yesterday. We've caught 7. I've got 4, and Terry's got 3, and by this time yesterday morning, my partner and I had probably caught 15. But we're still working at it, and we got a lot of time to go, so hopefully we'll catch a few more sometime during the day.
Dave, that's a really good question. Water temperature is the most important factor that affects how fish feel. I like to fish in the springtime when the water's warming up between about 55 and 65. In that water temperature range, the fish are moving shallow to feed because they're not spawning yet. They're thinking about it, but their main thing right then is feeding. The pre-spawn time is probably the best time of year to catch big bass, as well as numbers of fish, because they're all moving up into the coves, into shallow water where we like to fish, and it's a great time to catch all kinds of bass.
Send your answer line question to Bassmaster Answer Line, 5845 Carmichael Road, Montgomery, Alabama 36117. Please include a picture with name, address, and telephone number.
So you got kids, wife?
I got a 13-year-old.
13-year-old.
Yeah, I've been married.
Does he like to fish with you?
He don't like to fish too much.
There's one. Yeah, get the net for that one. Oh my God, thank you, buddy. What happened? He fell. I gotta thank the Lord for that. A 3-pound bass and the spinnerbait fell out of his mouth when he put him in the net. Thank you, Jesus. Ooh, yeah, that made my day.
There's another one. I'll just sling him in here.
Well, I just caught him on this spinnerbait. We haven't had a spinner. It's 12:06. We haven't had a spinnerbait bite for. Well, he caught one about an hour ago on a spinnerbait, but I'm trying to hope this wind blows a little bit more so we can throw that spinnerbait. I'm just throwing that bait he was killing them on this morning. I didn't have any exactly like it, so he gave me, Sam here gave me one of his spinnerbaits to throw after he caught a limit on it this morning and I couldn't get a bite on my spinner bug. It's got a little red kicker blade in front, not a gold Oklahoma blade in the back. I'm from Texas. I don't carry Oklahoma blades with me in my boat, but Sam does. He's from Oklahoma, so good thing he's with me today. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have caught that one. What we got here is just a hyacinth edge here that's floated up against this little ridge here, and these fish will pull up underneath that hyacinth and suspend right underneath it. I'm just going through here real slow, flipping a Lake Fork tackle tube with a rattle in it, and just punching it through the hyacinth and just shaking it a little bit. And I haven't been getting a whole lot of bites doing this, but the ones I've been getting have been the better fish. It's a slow bite, but just work it real hard, and every once in a while you get a good bite.
This is one of those places that's really hard to find, and really most people give up before they get in here. But like you can see in here, it's a big lake back here, but it's just hard to get in here. And I just happened to know somebody that knew how to get in here, and down in Prefish, he took me in here. But it's not automatic out here. They've really been the toughest days today for sure. We've got everybody just kind of scrambling around. I've seen everybody fishing where they fished all week, but today they're just moving everywhere. So they're really not biting yet. I've got 5, but I've only got about 7 pounds probably. I just caught one out here on these schooling fish, and this is where the biggest ones were a couple weeks ago, but they've all kind of filtered out and they kind of break up during the fall and start going to the banks. There's still a few good ones out here. We've seen some pretty good ones break and caught one about 2.5. So hopefully we can catch a couple more of them. Little one.
Which side you gonna bring it on, OT?
I ain't that little either. That is a keeper. That'll work.
They all count one till you got 5.
The 2001 Bassmasters Tournament Trail, presented by Long John Silver's. This is the Bassmaster Central Invitational, brought to you by Ebertrol.
Basically, from last year, fishing's really a lot tougher. This year, the fish are out, you know, more on the river and on ledges and things like that. When last year it was, you know, right after the spawn, so the fish, most of them were still in the backwater. But the weights are really down compared to last year too. Last year everything was primarily just a flipping and a spinnerbait bite, but this year you can catch them just about any way you want, but the quality of the fish are really down this year. This little ridge here, I found it last year, but I'd basically just primarily been catching spotted bass on it, and I knew with the last year that they wouldn't hold up, you know, because the better largemouth were really eating pretty good, so I never even locked through and come down here last year. And this year, you know, it's been paying off pretty good till today. They're just not real active this morning.
You know, every time they open the locks, the current comes through here pretty strong. And when we pulled up here, of course, it was right after they opened the locks and the current was flowing through here, and we had those bites real quick, and then it's kind of slowed down. So we're gonna make a move here in just a second and see if they're stacked up on the other spot over here like they were yesterday.
Pretty good one there. He's on the trailer hook too. You might want to put a trailer hook on there. Not a bad one.
I'm throwing a little 1/4 ounce War Eagle. It's a gray mouse color. This looks like a little shad. A little double willow leaf. With the trailer hook, there's been a lot of short striking, so.
It's, I just caught those 2 nice ones on a spinnerbait, but it's noon, it's 12:15 now. And it's, you know, pretty much a bluebird day with a light wind. It's not an ideal situation to throw a spinnerbait. The key to both those fish was I caught them both on the trailer hook. If I hadn't had a trailer hook on my spinnerbait, I wouldn't have caught either of those 2 fish. And, you know, early in the morning, a lot of times, or on a cloudy day, you don't need a trailer hook. The fish are eating good, but up in the day, a lot of times it's a good idea to put one on, especially if you're not in real heavy cover. And we're not, you know, we're just fishing this riprap. Something you might try to remember next time you go, you might put another fish in the live well with a trailer hook on your spinnerbait.
Yeah. Which side of it, Tank?
This side.
Okay.
All right.
I can catch too. It's 4, boss.
Another keeper, no size.
Beyond the Tournament Trail, presented by Long John Silver's.
Wow, this last year of my life has just been, it's been a crazy one, but it's probably been one of the most, it'll definitely be one of the most memorable years of my life. In December of '99, I proposed to my wife, Bobby. In February, we bought a house, and in April, we got married. Then in May, I got my very first BASS win. I won the Central Invitational at the Red River, made my 3rd Bassmasters Classic, and finally, after 10 years of bow hunting, finally shot myself a really nice trophy buck. So it's just been Been a very memorable year all around.
And then after we got married and things started going a little bit more profitable for Brent, we decided it was okay for me to go ahead and quit my job and work with him full-time. So I just started traveling with him full-time in July. It's different. Everyone thinks, you know, great, you don't have a job, you get to relax all the time, but it's not like that at all.
You know, now that I've been out here for 5 or 6 years, it's, you know, when I can reflect back on it, I can just say that, you know, everything's fallen into place perfectly. I can say over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been a little impatient, but, you know, when you look at everything in a nutshell, I couldn't ask for anything better.
So you're always ready when it's time to go, but then after you've been gone a week or so, you're always more than ready to come home again, too.
Being out on the tournament circuit, it really takes a lot away from you, so it's always a great opportunity to come home and unwind and just enjoy things. Probably one of my most favorite hobbies is hunting. Duck and goose hunt, a lot of goose hunting. I love to bow hunt for deer and a little bit of pheasant and quail hunting. You know, in Kansas, we've got some excellent hunting around.
Gosh, my hobbies are entertaining Brent's hobbies, I guess. I've started hunting more with him in the past couple of years, and we enjoy going snow skiing every winter. Mainly, we like to just travel and have fun together. We like to just spend time with our families when we're home.
You know, we're away from them a lot while we're on the road, you know, sometimes months at a time, so when we're at home, you know, love to spend time with friends and family.
When we were first dating, I used to make him go dancing all the time, country western dancing, but we don't do that very often anymore. Mainly when we're home, we like to just relax and unwind together, so our biggest interest is just sitting down, unplugging the phone, and maybe renting a movie so that we can have some solitude. Usually when we're gone, we do a lot of the business end of the work while we're gone, but when we come home, we always have piles of paperwork to do, so it's always a good time to catch up and get our work done also.
You know, that's kind of what I'm all about is, you know, love the outdoors and love to fish and hunt.
Bad sign I can't catch one off of the spot that I usually catch one every time. Good fish. Yeah,
All right.
That's 5, big guy.
Numero 5.
Nicer fish.
He ate that one, too. Trusty pliers. Come here.
Get it? Good one?
Yeah, that's a better fish here.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say. You want
Yeah,
that?
yeah, let's net him. There you go. Good catch. It helps the cause.
I'd say. Get us 5 of them pieces, we'll be in good shape.
I'm not sure which one of mine's the smallest. Oh, damn.
Oh. Did you catch a fish?
I caught a fish.
Oh. That one seemed a lot bigger than what it is.
Yeah, he seemed a lot bigger when he come over that log.
Sure did. I thought he was up there in the 4 or 5 pound range.
No, I'll just keep throwing this little crankbait in a Carolina rig and, you know, just wait on them, you know, and hope that, you know, they eventually will pull up and go to feeding. It's just, I guess, the wrong time of the day right now to really catch them. We'll just have to see how it works out.
Well, we're just going to stick it out right here, this tree and the other stuff over there, and just keep working back and forth till they turn on. And like I pulled in here just now and caught 3 fish off of this one tree. We've caught nearly all of our fish off of it today. Yesterday we caught more fish over on the other tree, so, and none today yet. But it's like, you know, just any time they could move in there, turn on, and start feeding, which is what they're going to do here eventually. If we've got enough time to wait them out, we'll get some of those bigger fish. For some reason, most of them are just keepers today. Yesterday, we didn't catch very many small fish. Everything was, most of them were 2 pounds or bigger, which is the kind of day you like to have. Of course, not every day is like that. And maybe everybody else is catching smaller fish today, too.
The 2001 Bassmasters Tournament Trail, presented by Long John Silver's.
Well, we had a fun time today. My partner showed me how to catch them on a spinnerbait first thing this morning, and he caught, I think, 8 or 9 in the first half hour on a spinnerbait. And then we ended up catching our limit on that spot. I caught some on a little power worm and a tube, and then we both had small limits, and then I ran down, locked through, and went to some bigger fish that I've been catching this week, and ended up catching a couple nice ones down there on a spinnerbait about noon. And I don't know, I got it up about 10 pounds or so, which I was pleased with. That's a pretty good bag.
The competitors have done all they can do. Now it's time to go to the scales. But first, let's take a look at the current standings. Tournament Director Trip Weldon is ready to get things started at the weigh-in stage.
He was in 9th place, tied for 9th with 17 pounds and 14 ounces from Tyler, Texas. Let's welcome Jay Yellis. With a 5 bass limit, folks, he needs about 8 pounds to take the lead. Look at here. Your new leader, Jay Yellis of Texas, 10 pounds and 11 ounces. 10-11, Jay. Great job. Hold a couple of these up for the cameras. I know you're going to look back on day one, Jay, as the day that cost you this tournament, possibly.
Yeah, maybe so. I didn't have a good day that day. I was clueless out there. I caught about 7 pounds, and my partner in the back of the boat got 12 pounds. So every fish he caught was a fish that I did not catch, just because I wasn't fishing good that day. And but the last couple days, I was blessed. You know, got a couple good bites each day, but. In a 3-day tournament, to win, you got to do good. You got to be on your best game every single day, and I was well over par the first day.
Okay, nice hand. There's your leader, Jay Yellis of Texas.
Ouch. He bit me. Come on, honey, let's go. Good and alive.
All right, here comes the angler that was in 4th place with 19 pounds and 3 ounces. He needs about 10 pounds to take over the lead from Texas Todd Faircloth with a 5 bass limit. Todd won't do it. 5 pounds and 4 ounces.
Thanks, Trip. I just, you know, I caught those fish on a crankbait, and I had a little flipping pattern going yesterday, I thought, and that's how I caught my better fish. Today it just didn't work. I didn't get any bites. I was just fortunate to catch the limit.
Well, I'm tickled to have it. I think I got about 14 pounds or so, and yeah, I feel very fortunate. Got some good bites. Got one about, you know, close to 6 pounds today, and that helped a lot. So,
tell me about the 6-pounder.
Well, I've been flipping mostly. The fish have been suspended on some big timber out in you know, some little bit deeper water, and as the sun gets up in the day, it positions them right in the shadows, you know, and you can kind of pick your shots. And I flipped in there, and all heck broke loose.
Great start, though. Might earn you another shot at the Classic.
Thanks, Trip.
Thank you, Todd. Good job. He was in 27th place with 15 pounds and 3 ounces. Today, he brings me 5 bass. He needs about 16 pounds to take the lead. He does. He needs about 16 pounds to take the lead. Kelly Jordan of Texas, 5 bass. Watch the scales, people. Oh, man, just short. 14 pounds and 9 ounces, 14.9, but a great sack, Kelly. Hold up these 2 big ones. Look at here, folks. Actually, it's 3. I'll grab one. That's a solid one. You've got the 2 big ones. We're going to weigh this big one. Has to beat 414 to take the big lead. I mean, the big bass lead. Kelly, let's weigh him real quick like. Look at here, folks. New big bass, 5 pounds, 15 ounces. Give him a nice hand. Hold him up one more time, Kelly.
I fished as good as I could fish. My bigger fish didn't bite today. It was kind of dead down there. They lowered the water level about 6 to 10 inches and just kind of killed it. Where I caught all my good fish yesterday, never got a bite today. So I culled a couple of fish, but I doubt if I got maybe 8 pounds. Okay. At least I got a limit. That's, you know, you got to have a limit first.
I caught these fish today on a Lake Fork Tackle trophy tube with a Lake Fork Tackle tungsten nickel weight. It's really helps you catch more fish. It's a lot smaller. Yeah, and flipping and pitching, and it seems a lot more. It's just gets a lot more bites. It's a lot more finesse.
Fishing woods or weeds?
Fishing all wood. The fish were holding about 2 to 5 feet deep and about 10 feet of water, just normal for this place. So.
Okay, we're going to see you up here in a minute with a good payday, Kelly. Nice hand for him. He's your big bass leader, Kelly Jordan of Texas. Okay, next angler to the scales. He was in second place with 23 pounds and 1 ounce. He needs about 5 pounds and change to take the lead of this tournament. Let's give a nice hand to O.T. Fears, Sallisaw, Oklahoma. Needs 5 pounds and change to take the lead. 5 bass. He's going to do it. 8 pounds, 14 ounces. Mark it. Way to go, O.T.
Thank you, Trip.
Let's hold a couple of them up real quick like. Unofficially, O.T., I think that's going to put you around the 32-pound mark. It looks like right now it's a shootout between you and Slade Dearman.
Well, like I say, I don't know what kind of day Slade had, but I do know that it was tough on me. It was tough on several people that I know that had been catching a lot of keepers today. It was just generally a slow day, especially in Pool 3. That's where we were fishing.
Okay, unofficially, Sarah, how much weight does he have? 31 pounds and 15 ounces. Your leader, O.T. Fears of Oklahoma, folks. Nice hand for him. Way to go, O.T. Now go back there and sweat bullets. Last angler to the scales. Just worked out this way. We didn't plan it. He's our day 1 leader, our day 2 leader. Nice hand for Slade Dearman on Alaska, Texas. Slade, how are you?
Yeah, not too good today.
He needs about 6 pounds to retake the lead, but today only brings me 1 keeper. Let's slide him up on there, Don. 1 keeper that weighs 1 pound and 1 ounce. Slade 1-1.
That's a big one, ain't it?
Let's give him a nice hand, folks. He's had a great week.
Yeah. I don't know what happened today. I don't know if we might have got there a little late, having to be in the second lock again. But, they just didn't bite today, and I stayed on them until probably 2 o'clock, just hoping that they would show up, because if they ever did, you could catch them in 15, 20, 30 minutes, and they were all big ones. But, unfortunately, they just, I waited too long to go and just try to catch any fish. And, we caught a lot of little ones there this morning, but the big ones just never showed up.
Well, you've had a good tournament. You're going to take home a great payday, and you're on the road to the Classic. Good start on Central Invitational. Nice hand for him. Slade Dearman on Alaska, Texas. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to the champion of the Louisiana Invitational, Mr. O.T. Fears, Sallisaw, Oklahoma. O.T., congratulations on your 4th victory on the Bassmaster Tournament Trail.
There you have it. O.T. Fears takes the first Central Invitational Championship of the season on the Bassmaster circuit. Now let's take a look at the rest of the standings. When the Bassmasters returns, O.T. and Fish will take a look at his winning strategies here on the Red River.
The Bassmasters, brought to you by Long John Silver's. You can't resist the cravings. Evertroll, stay out longer, catch more fish. Kumho Tires, Kumho is the way to go. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. And by MotorGuide. With MotorGuide, you can take on the world.
Five months ago, this guy finishes 3rd overall. He's O.T. Fears, and he's this week's champion. O.T., tell me a little bit about the tactics and some of the techniques that you used. Was it anything like last May?
It was actually completely different. Last May, the Red River was red. And of course, my patented spinnerbait that I use, the Bulldog spinnerbait that I used to win the Superstars tournament in muddy water, worked very, very well. It was a spinnerbait chunking contest, and I love those things because you catch a lot of fish. But this time they've had a drought all summer, and the water's low and it's clear. So I went to more of a typical fall pattern on the river and tried to figure it out that way.
I'm talking about an oxbow off of the river, one little single area. You go in there, you find a pecan tree. Tell me a little bit about this tree. It was awfully special this week.
Well, it's typical for a fall pattern on a river for a lot of fish to be located in one small area. And in this particular oxbow, the only major tree in this whole thing, it's a mile long, was one pecan tree. So when I saw that, I said, there has to be a fish living there. Well, I pull up there and in forecast have 4 bites. So I kind of ease off of it and think, well, surely someone's going to find this. It's just too easy. But it apparently was so barren in there that no one really gave it a lot of attention, and so things worked out, and it was just loaded with bass. Actually, the oxbow had a ton of shad in it, bait fish, and you get out in front in about 15, 18 foot of water, and the shad were going up and down the oxbow. So the fish were kind of following the shad, and every once in a while they would hang up on this tree and use it as an ambush point. And then you had to come. I had to go leave it for a while and then come back, and that's the way I worked it all 3 days.
Tell me a little bit about the baits that you used this week, and you've got a couple of them here with you.
Well, these are my fall pattern baits. I use a Norman Super Scooper and the Deep Little End, which is in a khaki blackback pattern, as you can see. I've added a little bit of orange, more orange to the bait. I kind of docked them up a little bit, but these are classic river baits, and in fall baits, especially on rivers, Arkansas River, Red River, it imitates the shad. The shad kind of get a little bit of a golden color to them, and that's kind of what that khaki looks like a little bit. So it patterns the shad. Also, swimming a bait through the limbs. This is a Zoom dead ringer, big dead ringer, and it has, you notice, it has a real big curl tail to it. Well, this old tail just sits back there and does this number, and it looks like a shad. Very similar.